Hello everyone, welcome back to WeXpats TV. I'm your host Rekha, and today we are going to talk about 5 major differences between share house and social apartments in Japan. So when you come to Japan next time for study abroad or even working in Japan or working holiday, you know which one to choose by your preferences. So first of all, as you can tell, share house and social apartment does seem to be like very similar, but they actually have 5 major differences. And first of all, the very major differences is actually the rent and also the first payment. So for the share house, it's usually really cheap and cheaper than the social apartment, but then at the same time, the facility and all the other ones is a little bit lesser than social apartment as well. And for social apartment, it's usually a little bit more expensive. It's usually 5 man yen to 90k yen in Japan. And also for the first payment, share house usually does not require any gift money, and it usually also only requires the first payment, such as the deposit. And for the social apartment, it's very similar to apartments because, you know, as you can tell, it's a social apartment. So the first payment is very similar to the regular apartment, so you will probably have to pay for the gift money and also the deposit as well. But at the same time, you get really different stuff, and that's what we're going to talk about in the next segment. So the first one is for share house, it's usually 5 to 7 rooms, and there's like more, probably a little bit, you know, if you have a bigger share house, it's usually like maybe 20 rooms and you get to know like 20 people. But for social apartments, since it's actually an apartment, you get to know a lot more people, and it's usually like 50 to 100 rooms in a social apartment. So that's also a very big difference between the two. And the other ones will be the public facility. So for share house, most of share house does have a shared kitchen, bath, and also laundry, and some share house does have like living room and such. But for the ones I live in, we do not have a living room, and there's only like the shared kitchen, shared bath, and shared laundry as well. For the social apartments, you usually get a lot of like the social kind of like social aspect facility, such as movie room, movie theater, and also a really big living room, a really nice kitchen, a big one. You get to like cook with each other, and also you get to have some of them actually have like yoga studio, gym, and you get to have like some like pool. You get to play pool or even darts. So I think that's a very difference between the two. And if you like to social and you want to social, it's actually not very stressful for you. We would definitely recommend you guys to find the social apartment, or even for share house, to find some share house that have living room. But for the ones that doesn't have living room like mine, you don't need to social with anybody. You probably just say good morning and like, you know, ohayo or like konbanwa, such like that. So I think that's a little bit different in that sense. And for me, for myself, I do not like to social that much at home because I want to rest. So I think share house is a better idea for me. But so it's actually connected to the fourth one, the fourth difference, and that would be, why do you want like to live in a social apartment, or why do you want to live in a share house? Like for example, for me, I choose share house because it's very affordable, it's really close to the station, and then you're actually living with other people, so you're not that lonely, but you don't need to social with other people because we don't have a living room. But at the same time, if you live in a social apartment, well, it's called a social apartment, so most likely you will have to social with people, and people who live there, you know, they move in because they want to socialize and they want to make friends, they want to feel lonely, and they want to, you know, have close friends at home, that kind of things. So for myself, I used to live in that condition when I was in States, when I went to UCLA, and I think I will be okay because I was okay because, you know, I was a college student. But now, like for me, I work during the day. I literally just want to sleep when I go home, or I just want to, you know, fangirl, I just want to watch drama. So for me, I don't really like social apartments because I do feel like you are kind of pressured to socialize with people, and if you don't socialize, it kind of makes you like kind of like an outsider. But I don't know, I never actually live in one, so if you know anybody who live in a social apartment, please let us know and comment below. And the other one is for share house, since you have really simple facilities, so I don't know, like for me, I work from home a lot recently because, you know, the COVID situation. So you only have like a small room as your living space, you know. But then for social apartments, since it's bigger, and then you also have your own private bath most of the time. Private bath, private shower, private bathroom, private toilet. So I think you get to have a little bit more living space. So I don't think you'll feel that stressed out because of all the stay-at-home thing. But then for me, last year when Japan is really strict on the whole like COVID pandemic policy of going out, I think I was really stressed out because you don't really get to have a bigger living space. I literally need to stay in the room the whole time. I don't have a living room. So I think that was very stressful for me because of that situation. But normally, since you can just go out and I just go out, so I am pretty fine recently. But when you have to stay at home, I think social apartment would be a better choice. But on the other hand, because of the COVID thing, so if one person gets it, then everybody gets it. All right, and the last one, the fifth difference would be how do you find a social apartment and how do you find a share house. Actually, for social apartment, there's only one major company that is actually in charge of it, and they have a lot of social apartments throughout Tokyo. There's in Harajuku, there's one in Shibuya. It's really nice. I personally really want to move in that sense, but it is a little bit more expensive, and just like I said, I don't want to pressure myself to socialize with people, so I didn't really move out from the share house I live in right now. But for the share house, there are a lot of sites and a lot of different companies, and some of them are actually have one landlord and they have like multiple share house. So it's not exactly not all of them is like maintained or run by companies. So that's a really big difference between a share house and also a social apartment. So I don't know, like for foreigners who actually don't, you don't feel that comfortable speaking in Japanese, or you want to find something real quick, real fast, I would recommend share house such as OakHouse, GG House, and also we actually did a video on the XROSS housing as well. So please do watch our video if you're interested in the share house. And the other one for social apartments, it's actually still really easy to use for foreigners as well. But at the same time, since it is a very new idea, I think there are more Japanese people living in a social apartment in my opinion, and then I'm not really sure, but I think there are more Japanese. So if you do want to practice your Japanese and you want to social because you don't have friends in Japan, I would definitely recommend social apartment. And then for OakHouse, they also have some other social share house, that kind of things. So I think that's something you guys can look into as well, and we will put all these companies link below and you can take a look at it as well. So lastly, so what are the good parts and the bad parts of these two? So I think for both of them, comparing to living by yourself, one really big part of it is you don't feel lonely and you get to make friends, such as me. Even for me, I live in a share house with no living room. I still know the girl beside living beside me because she's Taiwanese, and then she could kind of hear my phone calls with my parents. I was speaking in Mandarin, so she was like, we ran into each other in the kitchen and she was like, oh, so you're Taiwanese, right? And then kind of just exchange line and everything. So whenever I forgot my keys or she forgot her keys, I have someone to call and I have someone to ask for. And I think that's really big parts of sharing, whether it's a share house or social apartment as well. But on the other side, some really difficult, real hardship living in a share house or a social apartment is not everybody have the same, quality of life. Let's say that some people are really neat, some people are, I wouldn't say dirty, but they are probably a little bit, not that strict on keeping things clean. They don't wash their dish on time. They put things all around. They throw things around, and they don't time keep their laundry, and you have to wait for them to take out their things. So I think if you are someone really strict on, I need to get this done, I want things to be really clean, really neat, I wouldn't recommend living in a share house or a social apartment. So I think that's something really different as well. But as a foreigner in Japan, I think finding a social apartment and share house is a little bit easier because most of the time you just contact the company and they will tell you what to do, and they usually know a lot about how to deal with the foreign workers or students in Japan as well. They do have experience and they have a lot of tenants who are foreigners. So I think that's something a little bit easier if you just move to Japan and you have no idea what to do of finding a actual apartment and let's say you speak really little Japanese. I would definitely recommend to find a share house or social apartment. So this is our video today on the share house and social apartment. We'll put all the companies link right below, and let us know if you guys do you like share house more or do you like social apartments more, and let us know what you think about this kind of video. And please let us know if you guys want to know more about how to find housing or how to live in Japan if you move to Japan next year after the pandemic. Please do thumbs up and subscribe to our video if you want to keep updated with our video as well. So thank you for watching today. See you guys next time. Bye.